Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to conduct data analysis and interpretation. Right. So let's start. So in this video, there are going to be four things that I will cover. We'll first start with preparing and coding the data, and then introduce you what SPSS is, and then describe to you what descriptive and inferential statistics are, and I will teach you about univariate, bivariate, and multivariate analysis. Right, so there will be separated videos, so I hope you can continue watching. Right, so firstly, before you start to conduct the analysis, you need to know your data. Right, I assume that when you're already in this stage, you already collected your data through questionnaire, right? Because data analysis is useful only when you have data through data collection such as questionnaires. So there will be two types of scores, as you can see here, raw scores and derived scores. Right, so let me explain to you first what raw scores are. Right, initial score obtained. So what does it mean by this? Right, so for example, the number of questions answered correctly on a science test. Right, so these values will be obtained based on the exact value that you get from your questionnaire. Okay, let's say you have asked questions regarding the number of questions that the participant had correctly answered during their science test. So there will be 5. Okay, that person has answered 5, so that means 5 questions correctly answered in this test. Right, the second, it describes exactly the value that the participant meant. Like this one, the second one, the number of questions answered positively on an attitude scale. Right, so let's say you have this type of questions, so that participant answered 3 and the other one answered 5. So that means that 2 persons has answered positively on an attitude scale. They put 3 and then the other one 5. Okay, exactly like that. Right, this is the third example. The number of times aggressive behavior is observed. Let's say you have asked a question regarding aggressive type of behavior. So this person has answered 5 times in a day. So that 5 is the raw scores, right? So what is derived score? So derived scores is taken from raw scores but changed a little bit. Okay, and they are changed in the way to make the value standard. Right, these are the examples. We have percentile ranks, standard scores, z-scores, and t-scores. Okay, I will make a new video to describe about z-scores and t-scores if you like. But first, percentile ranks. So percentile ranks is when it's like percentile, but you position the number of that percentile in a scale of 100 to show where the scores entitle that position. Okay, for example, you have a value of 98 percent. Okay, so that means 98% is the value that you get like in 98% less than you get that type of score. Okay, there are a lot of ways to explain this. I will have to create a new video to describe this. Z-scores and t-scores is actually comparing the value to a mean score. Okay, Z-scores are used for data sample more than 30. Okay, t-score is for less than 30. Right, next. Right, so when you collect your data, you will have to identify the type of the scales that you get in your data. Right, there are 4 types: nominal, interval, ordinal, and ratio. Right, so let me explain to you what they are. Nominal scales. Okay, we'll start with nominal scales. It is the simplest form of measurement researchers can use. Okay, assign numbers to different categories in order to show differences. Alright, so for example, one of the famous scales that can be used to describe nominal scales is about gender. Okay, nominal scales can be used to describe between male and female. Okay, sometimes you will put number 1 as female, number 2 as male, or the other way. Okay, there is no implication to say that that value 1 female is more than male. Okay, there is nothing. It's just to describe the category. Right, so 1 is to describe the female category and 2 is to describe the male. Right, it's just a way to facilitate the computer analysis. Next is ordinal scales. Right, so ordinal scales is one which data may be ordered in some way, high to low or least to most. Alright, so you can see some type of order in the scale. Right, so for example, you have order of student scores on a biology test from high to low. Alright, so ordinal scales. Let's say you want to describe about the student's the student's result. You use 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1 is to show from 0 to 30%. Okay, and then 31 to 70% as number 2, and then the remaining as 3. Okay, so you can see the difference between these scores. Mean that 1, 2, 3 describes the order. So it means if you see a value 3, you know that that particular person had scored from 71 to 100. Right? The difference in score or in actual ability between each position or rank would not be the same. Right? So this means even though you have this value, okay, 1, 2, 3, it doesn't mean that it is the actual value. Okay, like you're saying 1, 2, meaning that 1 and 2 difference is 1, right? But you're saying the score just now, like I mentioned, it does not describe exactly the value. It's just to categorize where the value falls into. Okay, like for example, you have these students scored 1 and the other one scored in 2. So you are saying that, okay, the difference between the scores of these students is 1. No, okay, it's not like that. So it just relatively describe the standing values between the individual. Okay, next is interval scales. So these are the common scales used in analysis. Okay, it possesses all the characteristics of an ordinal scale with one additional feature. Okay, it's just like ordinal, but the distance between the points on the scale are equal. Okay, for example, you have distance between scores of 70 and 80. It's considered to be the same as the distance between scores 80 and 90. Okay, for example, that is for distance. So you assume that the amount of difference for 70 and 80 is equal to 80 and 90, which is by 10. So 10 points here describe the same meaning. Okay. However, for interval scales, there is no 0 point. Okay. it can be negative and can be positive, but no zero. Okay, so that is interval scales. Ratio scales is just like interval scales, but it possesses zero value. Okay, is a scale, for example, is a scale designed to measure height would be a ratio scale, because the 0 point on the scale represents the absence of height. There is no height. Okay, or sometimes you can use ratio scales. For example, they are income. Okay, you are comparing between income. So the person have 0 means they have no income, and 1,000 ringgit, okay, as the value. So the comparison between two values is 1,000 ringgit. Okay, so it describes exactly what it means. Okay, when it written 1,000, it means 1,000 ringgit salary. Okay, 0 means 0 salary, no salary. Okay, time on task. Okay, time that are used to describe how a task is done or completed, in how long the task has been completed. Or it can also be used to describe age, right? So like when you say the difference between our age is 2, okay, then it is ratio scales. All right, so just want you to see. I just want to check again whether you remember what you learned just now. So what is the type of the data? So you can see here, let's say we have this type of value. Okay, you have theme park. Okay, theme park, but you use 5, 4, okay, 3, 2, 1. That is to describe the theme park name. House T, to describe the rank of the housing type. Let's say you have 1, 2, 3. Okay, to describe dense is the house, in a very compact neighborhood. Middle is, the distance between the houses not as packed as the dense. Open is, like a bungalow, it has a very open density. Very low density. Moist here is to describe the level of moisture captured by, for example, this is by satellite. This you have year, rainy, the numbers of rain in a year, state. So now, if you can remember, what are the type of this data? So theme park, since it has theme park name, right? It is using name. It is not a real value, so it is either ordinal or nominal. So since the value has no order, right, the theme park name, so it is nominal. House T, since we can see some type of order here from 1 to 3, so it is ordinal scale. Okay, house T is ordinal scale. Moist, since it's showing the real value, so can a moist be 0? Yes, it can. Okay, it cannot be negative. Okay, can moist be negative? No, right? So it is a ratio scale. Year, it is a ratio scale. Rain, the numbers of rain per year, so it is a ratio scale. State, name of state. Okay, you describe it using number, so it will be between ordinal or nominal. So it is nominal, right? So that's all. I can understand the first part of this video. Thank you for watching.